Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to the Sisma Laser Welder Demo-Cast presented by Gesswein. My name is Samantha. I'm the managing editor for Jewelry Business. Just as a general note to everybody who's attending today, all of your mics are muted. That said, please post questions for our presenter in the Q&A. We'll be addressing them at the end of the presentation. And if you have any technical issues as we get going, just let us know in the chat feature and we'll do our best to help you out. Today's slide presentation and the audio is being recorded, so we can provide the material to you afterward. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our speaker, Adam Kasson. Adam is a third-generation member of the jewelry industry and the principal contact for Sisma Laser Technologies at Gesswein. He has been with the company for 5 years and works with retailers and manufacturers worldwide. In today's demo cast, he'll be explaining the LMDT dual laser welder. So with that, I'll hand the presentation over to Adam. He's going to be demonstrating the product. And again, to all the attendees, if you have any questions, please post them in the forum. Okay, take it away, Adam.
Thank you so much, Sam. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. My name is Adam Kasson with Gesswein. Before beginning this, I would like to pay an homage that we lost regretfully the CEO at Gesswein, Mr. Roger Hudson Gesswein Jr. this past Friday. Mr. Gesswein joined the company. He is third generation. His grandfather started it in 1914, which I'll get into shortly. He was battling cancer for the last couple of years and regretfully left us on Friday night. So all of this is possible with him and his diligence, and I just did want to thank him up above and send love to his family and for everybody who has used Gesswein over our 106-year tenure. With that being said, thank you everybody again for tuning in. My name is Adam, and I'm going to be presenting to you Sisma Laser Technologies on behalf of Gesswein. So to begin, just a brief company overview. I don't know how many of you use Gesswein or are familiar with it, but Gesswein is proudly a fourth-generation family business. Gesswein got their start in 1914 in Lower Manhattan, distributing precision tools to precision industries, jewelry specifically. Around the turn of World War II, where demand for a lot of tools in Europe became difficult to obtain with the war efforts, Mr. Gesswein, as you see in the second picture, who would be Roger Gesswein Sr., became president in 1956 and started working with more localized made in USA manufacturers. And around that time, we opened up a stone manufacturing facility in Connecticut to service the needs of mold polishing and mold repair. As we can see in the third picture, this is the third generation Gesswein. So the gentleman in the middle, Mr. Roger H. Gesswein Jr., is the gentleman I referenced prior that has passed on this Friday. His sister Janet Muty passed away approximately 16 years ago. And his brother Dwight, the gentleman on the left, is board member. And Dwight's son, as you could see in the picture all the way to the right, Greg Gesswein, was named president of Gesswein approximately 3 years ago. The gentleman to his left is Mr. Glenn Muty, head of IT. These are all fourth generation. And Mr. Muty is, of course, daughter of Miss Janet Muty. All the way to the left is Mr. Roger Gesswein III. We have been servicing the jewelry industry for now 106 years, present in 4 countries on 2 continents, and we strive in customer service and that family relationship within the industry. So moving on from Gesswein, as we've been known for tools, equipment, and supplies since our inception, we are now going to be discussing Sisma, the global leader in laser technologies for the jewelry sector. I'd like to play a brief company overview video that'll give you wonderful insight into who they are and what they do. So without further ado. As I'll turn the volume down and briefly talk a little bit about over it. Sisma is a company invested in tomorrow's future. They embrace technology more than anybody else in the laser manufacturing world. And without fail, they come out with new products annually. Family-owned business. To the gentleman to the right is Mr. Svabo. He is second generation. His father started Sisma in 1961. This map is highlighting Sisma factories around the world. They have agents in every major country on the planet. Gesswein represents the United States and Canada exclusively. Every country does have their own agents, so they are firm on where we can sell and who we work with. They got their start with chain milling machines. It's approximately 21 different machines. The chain milling machines can do anywhere from 5 to 9 styles of chain. High-powered laser cutters to cut through sheet metal. They can be integrated with marking heads to be able to do marking and engraving as well. And of course, we're going to be featuring today laser welding. Also an expertise of marking and engraving, where they offer many machines to suit varying needs in varying industries. Deep engraving or 3D engraving as a result of their marking and engraving machines. A futuristic technology, this is sintering. So as many are familiar with growing jewelry out of resin and casting or carving wax, Sisma has machinery to grow jewelry out of precious metal. So that platinum ring was grown using platinum metal. Stereolithography or 3D printing. This machine has since been discontinued, and they do have now their EVRES machines for 3D printing. Sisma employs an estimated 250 people at their main factory, engineers, technicians. There's approximately 20 CNCs, so nearly everything is made at Sisma that they distribute. This is their chain milling factory, their laser engraving factory, laser welding factory. And boy, are they innovative. Tomorrow's technology used today. There's nobody who's more forward thinking about how the placement of lasers are working for tomorrow. Rigorous testing and precision goes into all of their machines. And of course, they are certified. After sales service and support is handled by Gesswein USA. So as myself as the primary contact, we have a full-time Sisma technician in-house as well. Wonderful. All right, Sisma and Gesswein, together your partner in laser technologies. So moving onward, if I could find my cursor. Oops. Okay. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to show just a video, as we're going to be focusing today on laser welding. I'm going to go into the different machines that we offer for jewelry, some of the differences between the machines, as well as some things that make Sisma unique. So to start off, I'd like to show a little video, and what this video is going to be showing is the integrated camera system in the LMDT. Following this video, I will show you the different machines. So the quality and precision of the video shown herein is available in 4 different models, excuse me. The LMDT, the LMD Vision, the LMD Lynx, and the LM250 Joule. Patented SynchroView camera system by Sisma has the highest refresh rate in the industry. You could fire 20 shots a second with a laser welder, and the camera can keep up. Of course, it is done in high definition video. For those that are not familiar with laser welding, lasers are essentially micro spot welding utilizing energy in the form of light. For jewelry applications, people utilize laser welders for the likes of doing prong retips without having to remove stones, ring sizings without having to remove stones, closing jump rings, earring posts if they have the post happens to fall off, bails, chain repair, porosity repair, eyeglass repair, costume jewelry, knowing that it has a multitude of pot metals or base metals. If you are using a torch on costume jewelry, of course, it does run its risks, but the laser welder can work with any metal. Laser welders are using two active mediums. There's what's called the active medium and a pump mechanism. So the way that a laser is generated is this active medium is called yttrium aluminum garnet, which is YAG, and it's doped with a rare earth element called neodymium. It's a tightly atomized crystalline structure grown in laboratories that is cylindrical. And what happens is when it's expressed by a pump medium, which is a flash lamp, if you could think of it like a halogen light bulb on steroids, it emits a very, very bright white light. And it causes the atoms in the YAG crystal to expand and contract at a very rapid rate. And when the contraction occurs is when the energy is formed. This laser is going to bounce off a rear mirror, shoot through the machine, and come down into your working chamber for ultimate control. I'm going to go into further specifications on the machines in just a moment once this video has completed. But as you could see, utilizing the crosshair, which you do get by looking through a microscope or on the screen in the case of this video, this is hands down one of the most precise machines in the industry. All of these machines utilize Leica microscopes for the optics, but the name of the game with laser welders is the highest level of precision, especially when working next to precious or semi-precious gemstones. Okay, and as we're back at the beginning, I'm now going to take you to a link to show you the different machines that we offer for jewelry. Okay, and certainly this link will be provided as this one is accessible through our Canadian counterparts. And unfortunately, you know, the general website for Gesswein is for USA, but this one is for Canada. So as we can see here, there are several different machines. And as we were showing the video for the LMDT, this is the machine as exhibited here. So you can see there's a 10 power Leica microscope. Leica microscopes do come standard on all Sisma laser welders. This intuitive 10.1 inch high definition LCD screen was projecting the video that I just showed you. In addition to, it does have a digital video output to display the imagery seen on the screen to an external monitor or television. People utilize this for training as well as advertising purposes. Very large working chamber. These are all desktop units with the exception of the last one. Very high power, 150, 180, and 210 joule options. Very comfortable, very large door, easy to use, and tremendous selling machines. So now as we're looking at the different machines, I do want to touch on briefly four features that the LMD scope, as seen here, LMD vision, LMDT dual, LMD links, and LM250 series offer that the LMD Ready does not. The LMD Ready is the introductory model, available in 150 and 180 joules. All machines carry a 2-year warranty. The LMD Ready has an open front, best suited for larger objects, say that could not fit in the doorway. So maybe you're working on a sterling tray and the handle came off. The LMD Ready suits that need because you could put a whole tray in there. All of these machines do have ports for remote diagnostics, which I'll get into shortly. They are all water cooled using distilled water and not deionized. All of the programs are accessible through the touchscreen as well as a mouse inside the chamber. All machines come outfitted with both argon gas hookups and air compressor hookups, and you can store up to 250 customized parameters in the machine. 2 or 4 features that all of the other machines have that the LMD Ready does not. The first is what's called first pulse suppression. What happens with first pulse suppression is when this YAG crystal, the active medium inside the machine, is idle for a shortened amount of time, when you re-step on the pedal to fire a shot, the first hit is going to come out a bit hotter than everything else to follow. With first pulse suppression, you have the ability to block that first hit. That's most advantageous if working with hollow ware, so if it's a hollow chain or a hollow earring post, I hate to say, or maybe something very delicate, if it's a filigree piece dated from the Deco or Victorian eras, you have ultimate control. In addition to that, all of the other machines have smart spot technology. What this does is a redesigned resonator, which is the cavity inside the machine that has the flash lamp, the YAG crystal, the mirrors, and the lenses, has been reconfigured. And what this allows for is shot consistency over an extended period of time. With other laser welders out there, if you're firing a high number of repetitions, what'll happen is you're gonna reach a breaking point where your shots are gonna start to weaken off. So you would likely have to go back over to your work to be able to get that desired result. With Smart Spot technology, the machine has the ability, not that you would ever do 1,000 shots straight, but you could fire 1,000 shots with this machine and every single one will look identical. In addition to water maintenance, I mentioned is done once a year and accessed through the rear of the machine. With the Sisma, you don't have to open the machine to conduct maintenance, but I do recommend to customers, as exhibited, there is a vent on the side and there is one on the top left. Dust will inevitably accumulate there. So once a year, pop the hood open and vacuum out any exterior dust. All of the machines but the LMD Ready act like a car hood. So they have a hinge and bracket system and they will flip open. I can open up one of the machines in under 5 minutes. The last difference is all of the machines but the LMD Ready has a stronger fume extraction system inside the chamber to extract vapors from melting metal, as well as capturing micron-sized particulate. The HEPA filter you don't have to change as frequently, and it is a stronger to be able to capture those micron-sized particulates. With the LMD Ready, the fume extractor is going to use a standard 1-inch thick fiber filter. Okay, so these are the machine overviews. Now moving onward, if I could find my mouse again. Okay. Okay, now a couple of attributes that make Sisma machines different than the others. The first I touched upon was the first pulse suppression and smart spot technology. These machines also have what's called a ceramic cavity. When the laser welder for jewelry was first established in 1992 via Rofin, the technologies that all of the early machines had is that the chamber would be gold plated. This was done for high reflectivity when the flash lamp pulses to be able to absorb the light by this YAG crystal to do as it's supposed to expand, contract, and generate a laser beam. The technology that Sisma has approached since the year 2000 is instead of a gold-plated chamber, to use a ceramic chamber. The ceramic chamber offers the same degree of reflectivity, but you do not have to use deionized water, nor would you have to worry about any mineral particulate being in there. If the beam were to arc with a gold-plated chamber, that could cause the gold plating to flake. You do not have to worry about that with a ceramic chamber machine, so you won't ever have to replace the ceramic chamber in a Sisma laser welder. So this is an advancement in technology that the newer companies have embraced, even though Sisma is almost 70 years old. The older companies are still lagging to catch on. Sisma is a technology-based manufacturer. This latest camera system came out in December and is the most intuitive quality camera system in the market on the planet. The last thing I want to touch upon that makes Sisma different than every other laser welder out there is the difference between what is known as voltage control versus current. I do have this nice little graph here that shows every other laser welder in the market is a voltage-driven laser welder. What happens is that when the control board or a circuit board is telling the capacitors what to do with the electricity, the energy, it's all primarily driven to the flash lamp. So what happens is when it is a voltage-driven machine, as you can see by the graph on the left, you're going to get a spike of energy and it's going to drop off. The advantages to a voltage-driven machine, as we can note on the right, it is a lower cost and the dimensions are a bit smaller. This is how machines have always been done. The biggest disadvantage to voltage control is that you do get instability in the quality of your shots because this graph is showing you how the energy is passing through the machine. With this, it is possible to have over voltage, which would end up causing you to blow the flash lamp. So flash lamp life expectancy is subjective. This is one of the most expensive consumable products, not spare part, associated with any laser welder. As you can see here too, it's going to shorten the lamp life, but also the instability. With Sisma, they were the first internationally to scrap voltage control and develop current control. Current control, as you could see, you have almost a linear line of energy being produced by the lamp as a result of the capacitors. And this is all driven by the motherboard. So this is another advancement in technology that Sisma is attributed to. With this linear line of energy, as noted the pros, you're going to get shot-to-shot stability. So you're going to get a superior quality in your weld, and you're going to get repeatability. The disadvantage, if it is one, which hardly noted, is you do have a higher cost in said technology along with a larger circuit board. So this is one big difference. When people use a Sisma machine, they say, wow, your shots are so smooth. It rides so well. It produces such a high quality weld. This is the reason why, because they are different than every other machine in the market. Moving onwards, I'm pitching to you today about Sisma. And there are many laser manufacturers around the world. But as I tell every single customer that I talk to about Sisma, no matter if you're considering my machine or any machine out there, these are the three biggest things you want to ask any manufacturer. What happens when something goes wrong? Because something will go wrong at some point. Unfortunately, by design, these machines can melt platinum over 3,000 degrees with a spot diameter of 0.2 millimeters. There's a lot going on internally to be able to achieve this. At some point, you will have something go wrong, which I'll elaborate on. How much does it cost to maintain the machine annually? This is not referring to your electric bill. This is more the running cost associated with consumable items that you need to be able to maintain the machine. Think of it like an oil change on a car. The last question is, how is training handled? It's great that you got a big, beautiful, expensive machine, but if you don't know how to use it, it's almost behooving you to figure out how to learn it. So training is imperative for any consideration in a machine. So starting at the top, what happens when something goes wrong? I am the primary contact at Gesswein for Sisma Laser Technologies. Everyone who has bought in Sisma from Gesswein has my cell phone number. Of course, respectfulness, noting I do have a family. But I am always accessible. In addition to, we have a full-time Sisma technician at Gesswein. What happens when something goes wrong? All of the machines have built-in Ethernet ports. So when there is an issue, which shouldn't be any time in the future, we have the ability to log into your machine remotely. Every time the laser fires, there's an ongoing log inside the machine that our technician, Chris Chaffin, can access when your machine is hooked up to the internet with you providing a username and password. We're able to look at the log and say, machine was firing fine, here something went wrong. Whether it's the water temperature warmed or the fan speed slowed or the capacitor voltage changed, we're able to identify this remotely and provide the solution of mailing you the part that you would need to get you up and running. We walk you through this either by video or by live video session or by detailed instruction to do the repair yourself. So it is unlikely there would be any instance that you would have to have a technician come out or send the machine out for service. The idea is that you're a jeweler, you're good with your hands, you could do these repairs yourself when the time comes, and we're there to support you. As an example, a water pump has an estimated 10-year lifespan. Sisma uses high quality, not Chinese-made water pumps in their machines. But at some point it will go. And when it does, you can count on Gesswein on being there for you. We stock all spare parts at Gesswein USA in Connecticut, right outside New York City, so there is no waiting for anything to come from overseas. Our counterparts, Gesswein Canada and David Antman, who some of you may or may not know, stocks all consumables associated with these machines. So water filters, air filters can be purchased from Toronto. They don't have to come from the United States. The next one, how much does it cost to maintain the machine annually? As I touched on earlier, when going through a brief overview on the machines, the LMD Ready utilizes a 1-inch thick fiber filter for their fume extractor. All of the other machines use a HEPA filter. The fiber filter you're going to change once a month or based on usage. A 10-pack is $25 US. So when you take into account shipping, plus 1 gallon of distilled water every year, we're going to say the LMD Ready series is going to cost you $40 a year annually for the first 2 years. The reason for the jump to $125 thereafter is for when you do the water maintenance once a year, the primary purpose of that is changing out the deionizing water filter, which is capturing any mineral particulate present in the distilled water. these filters have a lifespan. So when you do the water maintenance, the purpose is to really change the filter. One comes installed in the machine and you get a backup. So you don't have to purchase one of these until at the end of year 3, at which point they're $75 US, which is why the price jumps to $125 every year thereafter. The lowest running cost of any laser welder in the world. The other machines, as mentioned, they utilize a HEPA filter. You're going to change those every 4 months or based on usage. They are $40 a piece. So that's where that $130 US annually comes into, is considering 3 of those a year plus a gallon of distilled water. And then it's going to jump to $225 every year thereafter, noting that you're going to have to purchase a deionizing water filter. The last question, how is training handled? We've gone through many revolutions on how to train customers. I used to fly out to all of them and it got tiring. So then we moved to doing things like a video seminar like this, which wasn't the most productive, although it saved my back and had some advantages. What happens now is we have 3 options. Purchase of a machine. As you can see, well, you will see on the next slide, we now include 11 training videos that are going to show you how to do 4-prong retips, micro-pivet retips, ring sizings, engraving removals, chain repair, jump ring closure, and these are provided to you complimentary with the purchase of the machine. The biggest benefit to these videos coming to you is it's not like attending a seminar where you're rammed so much information into your head, taking notes, and then you get back to your shop and say, what did I learn? Or if we came to train you, you know, a 1-day intensive session, what did I learn? The videos allow you to watch them over and over again to hone in on your craft. Once you purchase a machine, they are yours. In addition to, before COVID, we had plans to record more videos this year. COVID has delayed that regretfully. So anyone who does purchase a machine, complimentary videos that are to be recorded after the fact do come to you as well. In addition to, we do have a Sisma Laser for Jewelry Facebook group that I admin. This group is open only to people who own and operate on Sisma laser welders. So it is a tremendous community for people to gain further insight if they are having tips, tricks, or having difficult areas. Of course, I'm trained in these machines, and with my jewelry background, I'm a resource, but there's a lot of people who have many years of working on these machines more than I do. So the community at large, we are all here to work together. Also, in addition to that, I will mention we do have private on-site training where we have a certified expert in the machine that could come to your facility for a fee. And we do hold classes at Gesswein, a 2-day session. COVID has regretfully delayed that as well too. So please consider these 3 things with any laser welder. I'd now like to show just a brief clip of one of the videos that come with our machines for training purposes. If I can find my mouse. Here we go. And this was shot with the camera before the SynchroView system, which I exhibited earlier on. So this is the old style camera system in the LMDT. So just as a side note, this gentleman who did this video would be the gentleman who would be coming to train you on site. He is a prodigy in my eyes. Master goldsmith, bench jeweler for 20 years. I sold him his first laser welder. He paid in excess of 18,000 US for his machine. With no prior laser experience, he paid his machine off in full in 8 months. The record for an advanced user, I had a guy who's been with lasers for 15 years. He paid his off in 3 months. So these machines, although it seems expensive, the utilization for these machines is unprecedented because you'll find a use for virtually anything in the shop to be able to utilize your laser. And the key with these machines and paying for them, you're accomplishing twice the amount of work in half the time. You don't have to go through the process of annealing metals and pickling and going through the whole process of even polishing pieces afterwards. These lasers narrow down the process, condense the time, and you're able to do that much more work in a given time frame, and that's really where their money is made. And that brings me to the end of our presentation today. Surely as a synopsis, Sisma is not a backdoor operation. With a presence in over 30 countries around the world, with the reputation of being the global leader in laser technologies specific to jewelry, as that has been their background for nearly 70 years, and with Gesswein handling all sales and after sales service and report. The demand for these machines, not only in the United States, is incredibly high, but the global demand for these, my shipments generally sell out before they arrive to me. I've been getting weekly shipments of machines as of late, and they are a very hot topic. So here is my contact information. Should you have any further questions, concerns, special requests, I know that Sam is going to be providing this video for further review after the fact to attendees. But I would like to thank everybody for their time and their attention today, for listening to me, taking a look at Sisma, and seeing why this is the champion of laser technologies around the world. Thank you.
All right, great. Thanks so much, Adam.
With pleasure. Thank you.
We do have a couple questions from attendees. I think we've got time for just probably one or two.
Sure.
And then the rest we can, by all means, forward on to you via email.
Sure.
So the first one is, why Sisma?
Why Sisma? So the biggest reason for Sisma is because in the day and age that we operate in, they are a company who embraces technology to benefit the end user. They are the most technologically advanced company for laser welders in the world. The things that they are doing are ahead of every other manufacturer out there. In addition to, as noted earlier, with things like first pulse suppression, smart spot technology, current control over voltage control, and an early adapter of a ceramic cavity over a gold-plated cavity, they have a number of features that differentiate themselves from every other laser machine out there. And by integrating technology into their machines, they are allowing the end user to have greater control, a higher quality weld, and unsurpassed quality product to be able to pass on to the customer. But when it comes to machining, that's one thing. The biggest reason why everyone should consider Sisma is service and support. It does you no good to purchase a machine if when you have a problem, you don't know who to reach out to or how to get the assistance, whether it's technical troubleshooting or a spare part that you would need to get back up and running. These machines are not cheap. Service and support is the single most paramount thing when considering a laser. And Gesswein, 106 years in business, service has always been our bread and butter, and you could count on us to be here for you. And that is why you should consider Sisma.
That's great.
Thank you.
Well, we've run a little long right now, so I'm going to wrap things up right now, if that's okay.
I am sorry about
Those
that.
are all the questions we've got time for, but any we didn't capture, we can certainly forward them on to Adam and get him to capture them for you via email.
Absolutely.
Once again, thanks so much, Adam. And thanks to Gesswein for such a great presentation. A recording of the complete demo cast will be available on jewelrybusiness.com 1 week from now. We're also going to send a link to everybody who attended today. And thank you all for coming. Before you go, we got a short survey that you could complete after you close your browser. That'd be wonderful if you could do that for us. So have a great afternoon, Adam. And
thank you, Sam, and thank you everybody for tuning in.
Stay safe, everyone.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.